Okay, so get this right. Microsoft wants to go nuclear to power their AI ambitions. Seriously.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild story. I mean, we're talking about 3 Mile Island here.
Yeah, the 3 Mile Island, kind of hard to believe, but they're actually teaming up with Constellation Energy to restart a reactor there to fuel their data centers.
It's a bold move, to say the least.
So, like, what's the deal with that? Why is Microsoft, this software giant, suddenly so into nuclear energy?
Well, it's all about carbon emissions. They've pledged to be carbon negative by 2030,
Right.
and they've got this whole blog post outlining their strategy. They call it a multi-technology approach.
Multi-technology, huh? So it's more than just, like, solar panels and wind farms.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah.
They're investing in renewables, for sure. But they're also saying that nuclear has a key role to play.
Okay, interesting. So this isn't just a Microsoft thing. I was reading this article in Scientific American about how nuclear power is making a comeback, especially with like data centers and AI needing so much energy.
Exactly. It's a trend we're seeing across the board. For years, nuclear was on the decline. Plants were shutting down, mostly because of economic factors.
Right. Cheaper alternatives.
Yeah, like natural gas. Plus, there's the whole public perception issue.
Oh, for sure. But now it seems like the tables are turning.
They are. The demand for carbon-free energy is huge.
And AI is only going to make that demand even bigger, right?
Absolutely. AI is incredibly energy intensive.
So it needs a powerful and reliable energy source.
Yeah.
And that's where nuclear comes in.
Exactly.
Like this weird twist, 3 Mile Island, this symbol of nuclear disaster, could now be powering the future of AI.
It's definitely a fascinating juxtaposition.
Fascinating, yeah, but also a little unnerving, no. I mean, 3 Mile Island is basically synonymous with nuclear accidents.
Right. There's no escaping that history.
That YouTube video we watched about the 1979 accident, it really showed how terrifying that event was.
It was a major turning point for public opinion on nuclear power.
Okay, so to sum up, we've got Microsoft going nuclear, a global push for clean energy, and the shadow of 3 Mile Island looming over everything. What's next?
Well, let's take a closer look at what it actually takes to bring a nuclear plant back online, especially one that's been dormant for so long.
Yeah, okay. Let's dive into that. So how do you even begin to restart a nuclear reactor that's been sitting idle for decades?
Well, it's a long, complicated process. It's not like flipping a switch.
Yeah, that's what I figured. The article mentioned something about fuel rods.
Right, those need to be replaced. They're the heart of the reactor.
And they're radioactive, right?
Highly radioactive, so you can imagine the safety precautions involved.
Yeah, no kidding. What else needs to be done?
Well, for starters, the entire plant needs to be inspected. Every pipe, every valve, every component. They're looking for any signs of corrosion or degradation.
Corrosion, that makes sense.
Yeah.
After all these years, right.
Exactly.
Huh?
And then there's the regulatory aspect.
Oh, right, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission.
Yep, they have to give the green light. And they don't mess around.
I bet they have a long list of requirements.
You could say that again. They need to be convinced that the plant is safe to operate.
Got to be especially strict with 3 Mile Island, don't you think?
Absolutely. That history isn't going away.
So it's not just about getting the plant up and running. It's also about public perception.
Exactly.
That YouTube video we mentioned.
About the accident.
Yeah, it really showed how that event traumatized people.
It had a profound impact.
So how do you even begin to rebuild trust after something like that?
Well, transparency is key. Microsoft and Constellation need to be open about every step of the process.
Show that they've learned from the past.
Exactly, and that they're committed to the highest safety standards.
It's a tall order, that's for sure.
It is, but it's not impossible.
So are there other options? Like, what about those new, safer reactors everyone's talking about?
Yeah, the small modular reactors or SMRs.
Right, those.
Yeah.
Are those a viable alternative?
They could be a game changer. They're designed to be inherently safer and more efficient.
But are they ready for prime time?
Some designs are getting close, but it's still early days.
Okay, so where does this all leave us? AI is booming. It needs massive amounts of energy. And nuclear power is making an unexpected comeback.
It's a fascinating convergence of trends.
It's like we're entering this new era of energy.
In a way, we are. The old rules don't necessarily apply anymore.
And the stakes couldn't be higher.
Okay.
We're talking about the future of our planet.
Exactly.
So for our listeners out there, what's the takeaway?
I think the main thing is to stay informed. This is an evolving story, and the choices we make today will have a lasting impact.
On that note, I think it's time to wrap things up. This has been an incredible deep dive.
Agreed. It's given us a lot to think about.
For sure. And who knows what the future holds? Maybe we'll be talking about AI-powered fusion reactors next.
No, that would be a story.
Until next time, everyone, stay curious.